transition, change, loss, uncertainty in everyday life. And I think the most important lesson that we can learn in life is that we have the choice. There is a different quality in our decisions that we can always choose. And in order to choose a new quality, we need to know the alternatives. So how can we better navigate our life in this maze of life in which every rapid turn, the degrees of inclination, right or left, in an ever-moving, changing maze, which is daily life, require from us to know the algorithm. The algorithm that we need to know is the algorithm of ourself, of self-knowledge. And today I'm going to share with you about different stages of decision-making, leadership, or love, in the case of love relationships, that you can exercise, that you can learn, that you can discover about yourself, so that you can help better to navigate transition, loss, change, uncertainty in your life. Four stages of love, or four types of intentions or approaches for decision making and leadership. How we communicate and relate with each other. How can we collaborate and co-create? These four stages actually can be extended to 12. But we're going to start with the basic one so that you can orient yourself. And if for you already these four stages are familiar, that you manage them very well, then you can easily reach out for the following 8 stages of love, of relationship decision making. The very basic experience we have in life when two individuals, companies, communities, cultures, or nations interact with each other is if there is a conflict of interests, or there are common interests, or one have interests in the other. In this art of relationship in life, we need to make choices, and the first choice is how are we going to approach the other person in front of us, or the circumstance, or the opportunity, or the resources, or an experience, or a person, a teacher, a student, a love partner, a child, a son, a daughter, a grandparent, an elder, a new tribe, another form of life. How are we going to approach them? Let's say that the most common experience in human history has been power-based. And it is defined by the statement of, I take from you whatever I want. This is sadly a common experience in human history, that a culture, an individual goes somewhere and take whatever they want, disrespecting the well-being, the life of the people, the circumstances that they meet. And it could be to a community, a family, a person, a nation, or nature itself. I take, and I don't care. So this only taking and imposing the taking, power-based behavior is a common way of relating to other people and circumstances. But there is another alternative, another stage of relationship that we can decide to take, another state of mind, of intention. And this one is when we decide to take from others and consciously request from them to compromise. In this case, we take, they compromise. There is a level of negotiation in which the other party agree to compromise for you to be able to take what you want. Certainly, this is also not in equal terms, because the person that, or the other party that compromises, is always giving away for the benefit of the one that takes. But there is a next stage of relationship in which both parties agree to take and compromise at the same time. It's more of a dealing than a relationship. It's a negotiation that involves taking and compromising, allowing somebody to take, taking yourself, and giving something in exchange. So there are limitations for that relationship because there is always pain in both sides. Also, there is a mindset of opportunity and resources that the other has, so we can just need to take, and the other one needs to probably avoid conflict, agree to give away. But there is another stage of the relationship or mindset for collaboration. And this one is more of a win-win relationship. That means that we set clearly, communicate clearly how both parties can win together. And therefore we agree that our both sides wins will be included in the negotiation. This is certainly a lot more convenient for both parties, and if it is well designed, will reduce the pain and the sacrifice, the compromises for both parties too. But there is still another level of love, another stage of relationship, another mindset. And this one is to see the other party as ourselves. What could you give to yourself that right now you can enable for the other party? You are another me. This state of recognizing yourself in the other and the other in you as of the same nature, and wanting for the other all the wealth, all the benefits, all the growth, the happiness that you want also for yourself. You are another me. This stage of oneness is of great, great care for life, for other people, for yourself. And it is a lot more beneficial for society and humanity. Yet there is still one more stage of love, of relationship I would like to share with you today. And it is that one called inner oneness. When you realize that within yourself there are many identities, many qualities, many roles that you play, many aspects of yourself that you really need to listen and bring together in your life. And you have managed to know yourself in all your dimensions, and you have listened what each of your dimensions need. Then in that space of inner oneness, you can give to yourself what yourself needs. And based on that foundation, negotiate or establish relationships of collaboration, co-creativity, and opportunity together with other people. So I hope that these stages of love give you some insights that when you are using tools to navigate change, transition, loss, opportunity, uncertainty, that the character you bring into the decision making, into the action, defines very much the outcome, the quality of experience, the outcome that will happen in your life and the life of others around you. So if you are in this path dedicated to purpose and to serve humanity, to serve nature, to create harmony and balance in life, certainly you can make better choices. And if you have difficulties making those choices, then you already found a path to work on. Probably for some of you it's already clear that the matrix Q work with the triads, the triangles, and the ciphers, the 9 elements, give us the possibility to create unique codes to explain human behavior, explain nature, different situations in life. So to make it a lot more easy and approachable for you, how to enter into simulations of real life events, into simulations of challenges, of projects, of relationships. I have been gamifying all the coaching and training programs. I have created games, challenges, simulations, role play experiences, and to make it even more interesting, I have created board games, role play games, as well games with cards and readings. And I think these games can be of a great use for you because in a play session, we can exercise these 4 or 12 stages of love relationship mindsets that can be utilized in any situation in your life. But more than that, I would like to share with you that in the Matrix Q ecosystem, we use also 9 archetypes for behavior and decision making. I would like to share with you today these 9 archetypes, and obviously there are cards in our card set that explain precisely what these archetypes are, the codes behind, the emotions, the feelings, the behavior, the images behind. Today I just want to explain you which are these 9 archetypes so that you can understand the possibilities you have also for decision making in your life. The first archetype we're going to look at is also related to human history and how have we been evolving in the way we relate to each other and to society or between nations. And the first archetype we look for is related to the ciphers 4 and 5, wind and ether, and it's the archetype of the warrior, which means that in your exercise of leadership or personal growth, you utilize a warrior mindset, which means more of conquering territory and probably overpowering other people and accessing to resources in that way. But this archetype is only the first one, the first level, the first kind of approach that you can use to make decisions and grow in your life. You realize sooner or later that through war, through conflict, we achieve certain level of power, authority, or territory, yet there is a level of destruction that happens, and pain and suffering, and eventually there is another way. So the second archetype is that one of diplomacy, of agreement, of law and policy that goes from the agreements of a couple in a household to the agreements of a community and the laws of a nation. And those systems of agreement then help society or a community to have a reference of principles, operating principles, decision making, values that can help you make choices that eventually are in accordance to what the community decided to believe is the right path, the right thing to do for eventually the majority. But there is a next level of commitment, because when a nation, a civilization evolves in time, the old laws and cultural values and principles and perceptions of what is right or not, necessary or not, change, because the people also change and evolve. And new laws need to be implemented, and eventually, if there is a dissension in your journey, you may fall back into revolution, trying to change everything again to create a new law system. But there is also a path upwards, so in which you try to utilize more essential principles based on nature. And this has happened since antiquity, using principles related to cosmology, to astrology, to the elements, to the knowledge of science and alchemy, to the hermetic knowledge, to spirituality, to universal principles, science and modern technology that could help us define laws and behavior and attitudes that are beyond the changes in society, the changes in culture. Because, for example, natural laws, principles, and rhythms are very much stable and permanent. So when we consider this, then there is a different type of governance that is more scientific, depending on the era you are and the culture that you are. What is considered as science, as a stable principle beyond the ages of humanity and culture and civilizations, then you can use that knowledge to create a more stable society or a more stable organization and way of decision making. Yet, beyond this universal approach, there is still another level in which you have acquired abundant knowledge and skills, and the gap between your qualities and the ability, knowledge, and information of most of the people around you it's huge, have increased so much. So to the point that the people you lead has very little knowledge of what do you do and how you do it and why you do it. And certainly it wouldn't be easy to bridge that gap unless everybody in your company, in your community, in your nation gets voluntarily interested to acquire such a knowledge. And in history we know that that has happened very few times, that a community is homogeneous in the amount of knowledge that they hold, the skill set that they carry, the interest that they have, the level of expertise or intelligence that they have developed together. They're mostly happening in small groups of people that have a common interest and a common effort to grow together. In general, they are leaders that acquire such an amount of knowledge, skills, and technology and power of influence that will bring you into the path that they inspire you to walk. And this is the point in which governance, leadership, decision making is leading by the power of influence that could turn into deception and abuse, one more time, power-based abuse, or it could turn into a positive leadership that is constructive and caring for society. In this case, we name this archetype as the archetype of the demigod that is moved by own goals, by own plans and achievements, and is basically in a great distance of knowledge and skills with most of the people that lead. The challenge and the drama sometimes of this archetype is to set clear boundaries and define themselves. What is the purpose? If the purpose is to work only for themselves, or the purpose is to work for the good of nature, humanity, and the next generations, and which are the values that they carry. So the demigod may find itself between black and white and gray zones, but in that process need to refine and temper the character so that it could be aligned to a real true purpose. The next archetype means that the journey of achievements, of clarity, of consequence, consistency have become in a certain level successful. And the archetypes that we're working on are archetypes that can be found also in universal mythology. So in this case, the next archetype is considered the archetype of the god. And the god in this case is a person that have already gone a path beyond themselves, and they are aligned to universal principles, caring for life, for nature, for humanity, for growth, and in that sense they become the principle themselves. So there is not anymore an ego or a person, an identity fighting for their own goals and wishes and visions in life. Their purpose is to become life itself, to become a life giver, life nurturing themselves, to becoming the principles of life, contributing, collaborating with the life caring universal principles. Now, the challenge of the early God is that have to stand always the conflict with the demigods that have selfish, egoistic behavior. Yet, in that path, there is growth and the challenge, there is abundance and richness and self-knowledge. So there are four more archetypes in which the God now descends into acquiring knowledge of influence and power empowerment to work with the knowledge of science and technology. And then descends one more time into the world, into the capacity to use laws and agreements to bring this divine knowledge or ultimate knowledge of nature principles and harmony and convert it into laws and principles that everybody can use. And finally descends one more time as a divine warrior to express the qualities of these universal principles in a way that the conquering of territory is a constructive, peaceful, harmonious conquering. So as you see, the first four archetypes have been transformed in the descension of the God through the ascension of the qualities of the individual, which is in this case beyond being purpose-driven in the own selfish interest, but being selfless in the interest for humanity, nature, society, and future generations. So in this journey of the 9 archetypes, there are many different situations in which an individual may jump from one level to the other one, will experience from one moment an intensity in one or the other one. And certainly it's a beautiful journey for self-knowledge. So obviously it is a very simple explanation what I have done now. And if you had the opportunity to follow up, the capacity to follow up the story and the different archetypes, I think you may be curious right now, wondering which of these archetypes do you use the most, and how can you learn the skill or the next level of archetypes. How can you learn to shift from one to the other one according to the situation that you need? How can you refine your skills according to the archetype that you want to train, to exercise? I would like to share with you we have special training programs and game simulations one more time for you to exercise that specific character of the archetype. So I would like to invite you then to join me into this training program about different stages of love, leadership, relationship, decision making, and the 9 matrix skill archetypes, so that you can learn how better navigate transition, loss, change, uncertainty, and opportunities. Life and journeys in different locations around the world, journeys I have in research, looking at the documentaries, at publications, and archaeological sites, and art, and archetypes, and mythology, and stories from all cultures and civilizations of the world, I could pay attention to. The template of these archetypes I have shared with you today has helped me very much to do an assessment, the traits, the code, the quality, the stage of development of a particular community and civilization. And if we can use them today to do an assessment of the capacity of our teams, of the level of development of our community, of our nation, if we look through these archetypes, the biographies of our leaders or events in our time, or eventually we look with these archetypes the content and the experiences, the challenges that we give to our children in education, or to our students, coaches, trainees, or how can we utilize these archetypes to enhance the way we create positive, constructive, purpose-driven relationships with our love partners, with our family, with our friends, community, and teams. It is extremely useful, and I would like to show you how can you do the assessment and how can you bring this knowledge back to your own community, to the people close to you, and create a new language that is useful for you to make decisions today, to establish the next stage of development of yourself or your community or your team, and also to identify what is the path that you're walking, that you have been walking. Learn from your past, work with your journal, and learn about the archetypes that you have been giving more attention and more power in your life. Once you have understood that, then you will really understand a lot more of why your life is in the way it is, and you will have the possibility to make choices, to make new choices, and define a new direction in your life if you need that. So I'm really looking forward to be able to have this first free coaching session with you and give you a workbook for you to initiate this journey working with the primordial archetypes of Matrix Q, with the games, with the challenges, and also with the rings and the cards that we're selling. And I'm really looking forward to the demonstration of how to use these materials for you to play by yourself or with your family, and in a playful way communicate the knowledge that we have acquired. So the only thing that you need to do is to send a direct message saying challenge accepted and to schedule this session with me. Really looking forward to meet you soon.